Okay, welcome to another episode of the Rugby League Outsiders. Got two great guests this week in Sean Sudworth and Stuart Hood. One, the kind of outgoing chairman of Birmingham Bulldogs, and then Stuart Hood, who is the new this year, is it?
New
Stuart,
this year, yeah.
Yeah, new this year. Chairman of the Birmingham Bulldogs. We're going to discuss their journey through Rugby League to this settee right now. We'll also tackle 6 breaking news stories from around the region and a couple from the wider game, including Graham Berry, who is absolutely knocked off his milestone with his fundraising for MND, which is great, a local lad who's doing good stuff. And then also Franchise Rugby League is on the horizon. So we'll no doubt talk about that. And with all those news stories, if you've got a point to throw in, something to discuss, throw it in and let's have a bit of a discussion about it. Okay, so before we kind of get into our set of 6, just a quick, maybe 2 minutes from yourselves, a little bit of an introduction, your journey through Rugby League to this point now. Should we start with you, Sean?
Yeah, we'll start. 2 minutes is a long time. I keep telling my missus that. But, so I started off at under 7s, born and bred, raised in Wigan. So it's sort of a religion. You go to school there and you play football. You're bullied. If you play rugby, then you're a real man. So I started off, under 7s, and played rugby league all my life up until now. Once I started playing at Birmingham Bulldogs, we had an outgoing chairman at the time, Mark Abel, due to work commitments, and I sort of got thrown in at the deep end. I wasn't really given a choice, and it was just something that I inherited and ran with, and done it for about 5 years now. And before now, obviously, finally handing over to Stuart. So excited about the future. And the prospects for the club. We've had a successful 5 years, I think, since I've been there. Won a few trophies and met a lot of really good people, good volunteers, good friends. And I think that's key. I think that's the reason why I've become addicted to rugby from a young age. It's about that brotherhood and that bond that I've still got friends that I played rugby with from 7 years old up north, to friends that memories from winning trophies and tournaments with them back in the day, to new friends that I've met recently through the game. So yeah,
amazing. Sean, what brought you to the Midlands?
The same as most people when they move. It was a woman. So I met in my early 20s. I met what is now my wife, and I relocated through work. But she is initially from Bromsgrove, so it was an easy relocation. So yeah, I came down here and got stuck.
Amazing. Well, I'm
same here.
Karl. I'm looking forward to chatting to you later in the show. So thank you very much. Stuart, over to you.
Well, obviously, I wasn't born in a rugby league area like you three guys. When I went to senior school, our head of PE came from Hull, and he played for KR. So we didn't play union at school. We played rugby league. So that's where I got the bug from. My father played union, but every Saturday afternoon, in front of grandstand, as a family, we watched rugby league. Yeah. Big heroes of mine at the time were Keith Fieldhouse, especially as he was born in Birmingham, played union at Birmingham mostly, then switched codes to Salford, became a hero there, played GB and England. He's down at Cornwall now, I've recently spoken to him. So that's where I got the bug from. Went out of the game because we couldn't play rugby league, played some semi-professional football before I went into business. And when my son wanted to play rugby
league,
no choice. So I jumped in, took on my coaching courses, became an England Talent Pathway coach and coach educator for that, and it's progressed from there. And obviously, Sean contacted me about coming into the Birmingham Bulldogs, which was a privilege, big club, always been one of the top clubs in the Midlands. So that's why I'm sitting here now.
Nice one. Again, looking forward to chatting to you later. Okay, so let's dive into our set of 6, Karl. So it's 6 news stories from around the region and a couple from the wider game. What we got?
Yeah, so a couple of good ones this week. So tackle 1 then, brand new community team has been announced, South Wales Saints. So if you're interested in playing rugby league in the south of Wales, you've got a brand new team there. At S Wales Saints on Twitter, and they're also looking for sponsorship at the minute. So if anybody, local businesses in that area, they want to jump in and sponsor them, they're out there looking for it. Tackle 2 then. Telford Raiders Media Day took place this Sunday. Me and you, Craig, were both there. It went down a real success, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It was really good. The players, the comments afterwards were like, this feels like a great setup, almost like a pro setup, and that's what Raiders are trying to do this year, is just kind of make their players feel like they're part of something great, So it went down really well. And I know, without giving away like figures and all that kind of stuff, in the past they've struggled to get subs in, as clubs always do. And this year they've more or less got all the subs in just through one day of that. So really good concept.
There's a lot of new players that have joined the club this year and have played rugby union before, and it sort of embedded them in the club, I thought. And then financially, on the back of that, they brought on a few new sponsors. They started advertising the team photograph, went out online. Stuff started getting shared. Before you knew it, it was snowballing, and a couple of new sponsors from the local area have come involved. You guys, I think you're doing something similar, aren't you?
Yeah, ours is Thursday.
Yeah.
It's Ivory at Edgbaston in Birmingham. So the whole club will meet their sponsors, everybody else.
Yeah.
So, we're doing exactly the same.
Yeah,
amazing.
I think it's a really good idea, and like you said, it brings everybody together. You get the old and new meeting. They get and you get integrated. And I saw the Telford stuff that they put out, and it's good to see. It's good. I've seen stuff from Telford, a lot of noise from Leamington as well, and it's nice to see that good social media presence, and it's good to see other clubs in the Midlands having good numbers as well.
Yeah.
It makes for what could hopefully be a really competitive season.
Oh yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Marcus and Fred, they're really pushing ahead.
Yeah.
And you can see that from their social media presence, etc. Like Fred's put on the media day, etc. And that's what we need. You've got to make rugby league exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've spoke briefly about possibly doing a joint Midlands Media Day next season. I think that might be something that would be quite interesting. Get them all down at the Alexander Stadium or something, and get each captain photographed with a trophy, just like they do in Super League and Championship. I think that'd be something we've got to look at next year. Maybe we'll head up that up. What do you reckon?
Maybe.
Anything that can raise the profile is a good thing.
It's got to be a good thing, yeah.
Right, tackle 3 then. Graham Berry, who was a guest on our second show, who's been fundraising for MND. He's doing his Wigan to Leeds ultra marathon. Am I correct in saying that, Craig?
Yeah, well, Transpennine ultra marathon he's calling it, yeah.
Yeah, so he set himself a target of £7,777. That's because Rob Burrow wore the number 7 jersey, and he's already smashed his fundraising target. So that's brilliant for Graham and brilliant for MND.
From our point of view, we're really pleased with that, because one of our charity partners as a club is the MNDA. And we're carrying those on the front of our shirt this season, so we're over the moon.
You've got involved with quite a few charities this year, haven't you? We'll touch on that in a bit, if that's all right, guys.
No, great.
Tackle 4, Franchise Rugby League has been announced on Twitter. I know very little about this, to be honest with you, but I've just keep seeing it flashing up and down. There's a team called Valencia Hurricanes, or Hurricanes, because of Spanish. They're going to be competing in it. They're playing Bath Gladiators, I've seen. If you look on their sort of social media, it sort of says that they're trying to create a European division that are potentially going to be a step up into League One, or that's what they're hoping. I don't know how much involvement the RFL's got in it, or if this is something completely separate, or I've no idea. But the website launches it next week or so it'd be interesting to keep an eye on that and see where that goes. Have you seen anything about this, guys?
We've seen, we've seen the same as you have. As far as I'm concerned, if anything can, let's just go back again, promote rugby league. Yeah, and everybody's behind it, whether it fails or succeeds, as long as it raises the profile.
Well, I think for teams in Europe, it's probably a good thing, isn't it? 'Cause I imagine there's not many teams in Spain. So, if they can create some sort of European amateur semi-pro division, or however it might be, it'd be interesting, I think.
There are a number of teams in Spain now.
Yeah. Okay, tackle 5 then. Wheelchair Rugby League took place in Birmingham last weekend. The results were as follows. Leeds, Jim Simpson's Leeds Rhinos beat Tom Coyde's London Roosters 64 points to 32 in the opening game. Hull beat Warrington 76 points to 10, and Halifax came out on top against Wigan 62 points to 28. There was a good crowd in there as well. It was live on the Sportsman, and it looked really good. Unfortunately, we couldn't get there, but definitely for the next one we'll be there. And
just a little bit of a plug, we did an interview with James Simpson, and it really, really insightful. We really got into that wheelchair rugby league and the intricacies of it, and it's just fascinating sport. So look out, that'll be dropping in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah,
so
next couple of weeks we'll be posting that out. So the Midlands playoff final venue has been announced. So this year the Midlands final is going to be played at Leamington on Saturday the 19th of August with a 3 p.m. kick-off. And it is going to be a double header this year. So the Women's Southern Regional Cup final is also going to take place on the same day with a 1 p.m. kick-off. So that's just brilliant news for having a double header in the Midlands. Guys, you'll be hoping to be there, won't you?
Yeah, it's part of the plan. Yeah, if not playing, we'll be there watching. But yeah, certainly. Well, obviously we're ambitious. We want to win that trophy back. So.
And it's great to see the rise of the women's game as well, and the fact that we're going to have a double header this year. It's exciting stuff.
It's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I watched some over the weekend. Like, was it Fatoif at St Helens playing at Fatoif, and it's brutal. The standard is really, really good, and it's intense. And with the wheelchair rugby as well. I mean, the World Cup was great for that, and it's a brutal sport, isn't it? I won't fancy it. I'd much rather have a pair of boots and run around on a piece of grass. To be honest,
can escape easier, can't
yeah,
but it's great to see its growth over, say, the last 4 years.
Yeah.
It's gone from 1 or 2 girls at a club to whole teams now. From London across to Bristol and up. And let's hope that it does the same as what women's football does.
Yeah.
Because some of the key figures that have got women's football where it is originally were RL.
Oh, is that right?
So
all right.
Maybe we can copy what they've done.
It's about inclusivity as well, isn't it? And I mean, so the rugby union club that I'm involved with, you have a women's team, and your socials become better because you've got that banter, and they come down and watch the men, and vice versa, and it meant more of a family feel about a club. I
tell you what I know. Having spoke to Amy Hardcastle, didn't we? And then we was chatting to Lizzie Ranstead, who head coach of Coventry Bears women's and ladies team. Also, Colostomy UK team. Massive fans, like if I talk to my wife about rugby league, it's like whatever. You know what I mean? She'll just go through the motions. But they are massive fans of the game. So it's brilliant. It's in good hands.
So that's the set 6 for this week then, and then the last thing we've got to introduce. Go on, were you going to say something then?
No. I'm poised.
Right, okay, we've got our competition winner to announce, which was, so we run a competition for a signed Bradford Bulls shirt and 5 hospitality tickets for any game of their choosing. This was in conjunction with Bradford Bulls when they played the Midlands Hurricanes. That's now ended on our website, Craig, and do you want to announce who the winner is?
Yeah, and the winner is Daniel Horseman, who should have received an email already by now. So Daniel Horseman, well done. You'll obviously get the shirt and the tickets, and there's a couple of guests over here if you're struggling to fill those 5 places. Will come along. So yeah, brilliant.
Yep, that's it for the set 6.
Okay, right, gents, over to you. We're going to have a good chat about Birmingham Bulldogs. Like I said, it'd be great to talk about the idea of where the club came from, the initial start of it all, and then perhaps some highlights throughout the year. And then, obviously, a bit of a view towards the future and this season.
Well, Birmingham's the oldest club in the Midlands, isn't it, I believe? Or one of the oldest clubs.
Still existing, I think, is probably the...
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so I suppose if you know the sort of the old history of the club, if you want to start there, and then
I know bits. So established in 1989, it was a bloke and his wife called John Simpkin, who we still keep in contact with via Mark Abel, who was the last chairman. So he updates him. I don't think he's very well, but he regularly asks how we're getting on, and we update him, and he and send him pictures, etc. And then previously played in national leagues. Always been competitive. The last 5 years, it's been the Midlands leagues, and again, trying to compete to win every year, which is something that we've always strived to do. It's been difficult with COVID. We almost had a full rebuild after COVID.
Yeah, like most clubs. Yeah,
like most clubs. Yeah, exactly. And last season was an eye opener, because you had your clubs like we mentioned earlier. Telford have always been very competitive and started off very strong, but then struggled with numbers. We struggled with numbers. I mean, I retired years ago, and I played near enough every game last season. So it's it was a real rebuild for us again, starting again with afresh with new players. So yeah, that's pretty much us.
Yeah. As Sean says, founded in 1989. We won our first trophy in 1992, which was the Midlands and Southwest Masrol, or whatever you call it. We were in NCL 3. We were the highest level Midland club at the time.
Yeah.
The club struggled with regards to transport at the time and finances to keep doing that. So we've won trophies consistently over those 34 years, but we've had gaps in between. And the idea now is that we close those gaps down, and start pushing it forward and get back to the kind of level that the club was originally. It's not going to be easy, but it's something that you have to target. I think if you don't target to do something, you don't go anywhere. And that's what Sean and the committee asked me to come in and do, was to push that forwards.
Yeah, so basically we want organic growth, and Stuart's right. So it's so over the last 5 years I've been doing the chairman role, and it's been survival year on year, and just existing and making sure we get a first team out and we've got a kit and everybody's happy. Where it was, I had to look and be honest with myself and say, can I take it to the next level? We need, for years we've been talking about setting up development squads and getting juniors involved, but it's one thing talking about it and it's another thing delivering it. And historically Stuart has delivered on that at previous clubs, so that's why my background, I work in a commercial role, so I want to be able to focus on things like generating revenue through sponsorships and marketing, that sort of stuff. So I reached out to Stuart because of his experience and because I've seen what I'd seen previously. With a view to so Stuart can run all the back of house stuff, take the club forward, set a plan as well. So we've got like a plan for year 1, a plan for year 3, plan for year 5, and we can do it. We can grow organically. But I think the main thing as well for me was, after learning from the COVID experience and really being on the bones of our arse, and coming through it, but narrowly, it was about being able to set ourselves up as more sustainable, so that we're not scraping around every year. And it's the playing side takes care of itself, because we've got Sean Flynn, who's a really experienced coach. He's from Bradford, northern lad, knows what he's doing. We
get that many people from Bradford.
There can't be anyone left in Bradford. They'll turn the lights off on the way out.
Like I said, he's not perfect. He's from Bradford, but no, he had good links with. He used to coach at Birmingham University Rugby League as well. So we had a lot of lads from there join us. To the point where we had lads that were at university. And they were due to go back up north for the summer holidays, and I was employing them so that they didn't go back. So we had them links as well. So the playing side's always took care of itself, and I'm always confident with the catchment area we've got that we'll get the right players. And it's little things that, when you bring someone in new eyes on things. Something simple, like, I think the first thing Stuart said to me was, we're missing out branding wise on the Birmingham aspect. So everything on our tops was focused. It's all Bulldogs. Whereas if you notice our new kit that we've released, it's Birmingham, because it's such a massive catchment area. And
I was going to ask you about the catchment of your players.
Yeah.
So obviously Birmingham is huge. Are you getting players from the whole Birmingham area, or is there a
No, we get it from the whole Birmingham area. The current team, from Sutton Coldfield, Walsall, and all the way down. Well, even though Walsall just outside, and all the way down. We have now done I had a big report done with regards to the demographics of where we're based, how those demographics will help us grow for senior players, junior players, youth players. And that's one of the reasons why we're centred where we're looking to centre now, which is at Avery. That is the key and focal area. So as time goes on, yes, we'll still draw from most of Birmingham, but the youth will come from this southern Birmingham, which our catchment area then is just under 500,000.
Yeah.
That's massive, isn't it? Yeah.
So, we don't need to be greedy. Yeah,
You don't need...
But that's, we're taking this methodically and looking at it correctly because we want the club to grow and we want it to be organic. Yeah. Now, when we say organic, that means that in 10 years' time, 99% of our players are from Birmingham because we've got that catchment area to do that. And then those juniors will do it. And then in 10 years' time, the lads who were playing rugby league for us in senior have got children. They've been brought up with rugby league. And it's a continuous path then. And that's what we're looking at doing. And that goes into, we've got juniors starting on the 6th of May as well. We've had a big demand for that. We've just launched the partnership with Ukrainian Rugby League to do the same. We're getting a lot of Ukrainian children coming through for that, which does go back to why we're charging to come in.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of our reach, like I said, we do have. I mean, the spine of our side are northern based. We have, Connor, who's our captain, he's originally from Castleford. He lives down here now, but he coaches at Birmingham University as well. So obviously, he's tapped into a few lads, brought them down. We got the likes of Alex Best, who he played at Stanley in Leeds, so he's from Leeds. He's the one that I gave a job. There was no way I was letting him go back. He played for Great Britain students, etc. So we got we got a good. We're lucky in terms of we got a spine of players, certainly in our halfback roles, that are all born and bred Northerners and know the game inside out.
I wonder I wonder how many halfbacks playing in Midlands are actually from up north.
Probably most of them.
We've just mentioned two.
Yeah.
Last week we had Leamington on, Northerners.
Yeah.
But this is what you've got to do. You've got to we haven't got any in reality in the Midlands, whether it's the 5/8, dummy half, etc. So you've got to have that northern knowledge and skill to allow these lads or girls to learn from. If you don't, then the progression stops. So for the next few years, whether it's us, Telford or wherever, we have to have that mingling of raw talent with experience because you can't learn unless somebody's there to learn from and teach you.
Like you say, hopefully not in the future, but I just think at the minute, rugby league in the Midlands, I think the demographic of the Midlands dictates that it's majority rugby union, isn't it? So if we're all honest, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So having the northern lads within the squad helps with that education process. But hopefully, like Stuart said, in 10 years' time, if you've got an abundance of lads who have played rugby league here, then they have their kids and they bring them up on rugby league, and so hopefully you get to the stage where you get good quality.
I don't even think it takes that long, to be honest with you, because if you tap into a few rugby union clubs and you've got some strong rugby union clubs around you, and you get those players on, it doesn't take long to mould a good rugby union player into a good rugby league player.
No, it doesn't, and that's now.
Yeah.
And that's been going on for a fair while. What we're looking at is bringing in the 13, 14, 15, 16-year-olds and bringing those through.
Yeah.
So we have a continuous pathway of players coming through.
No, yeah, I understand.
And that's what that's our aim, that's our target, that's our plan.
Exactly what Telford's done. You look at what Fred did there, and I remember speaking to him once in the pub after a game, and you had junior sides playing in the Northwest Counties leagues. And that's they're playing regular rugby league at a high standard then. So once they become of age where they can play first team rugby, you're embedding players that know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So it's that model that we want to build, and we're behind. We're behind, and we need to catch up. And that's what I'm saying. That was part of the reasons for the handover.
I think New Ravens are going to reap the rewards in years to come, because their junior setup, it seems to be really good. They've got loads of teams playing this year. Their first team's predominantly struggled a little bit, without being too disrespectful to them, but I think in the next couple of years, I think the Ravens are going to be one of the stronger teams in the Midlands, because they've developed their juniors so well.
Yeah, they're definitely putting a club together rather than just a team. And that's, we've spoke about that before, haven't we? That, that's what survives, isn't it? Like, teams come and go, but the club, the club has like some legs.
Yeah, I think with Ravens, I think they're the complete opposite to us. Almost, if you were to merge us and Ravens together, we'd have a very, very strong club, like you said. I think I've got a lot of respect for Jason and what he does there, and in terms of the youth and the development and what they do in the community as well. I mean, I spent a couple of years there, and we used to go out to schools and do coaching in schools, and I've got a lot of admiration for that. The reason when I say we, me and Sean Flynn broke away from there and we set up Hawks and then obviously merged with Bulldogs, was solely down to the fact that I'd gone from playing National League Rugby League, and I sort of was falling out of love with the idea of turning up on a Saturday with just 9 of us and getting thumped, and you could only do that for so long, which is the reason why we moved away. But it was just, we had different visions, but like I said, absolutely nothing wrong with what they're doing, and I hope that they do reap the rewards from it in the next couple of years, because they are great for the community sport.
And that's what it should be all about, is the community.
Yeah.
That's why we're going down the junior and youth side. We're also working with SVP charity. We're going to be going into schools with those, providing free coaching. Yeah? And it's to develop this community side. So we're doing other things as well, which will come out shortly, as you'll see online. But this whole community thing is what we're building the club around. You're absolutely correct with regard to the differential between a team and a club. Yeah? We are now becoming a club. That's why I have juniors, youth, we've got volunteers. So everything is the core of a club, and everything is being bred that way. Would you agree?
Yeah, and that's the difference from last season to now. If you speak to a lad, a lot of them, they're oblivious, aren't they? Because they just turn up and they want nice stash and they want good training, and that's it. But we worked hard in the off season, working behind closed doors to start setting the foundations for a sustainable future and for developing youth and getting out and involved in the community more, and all them sort of things are coming to fruition now, and so it's going to be interesting to see, and I can't wait. I know Stu's probably the same, that for the first day where we get there and in May and we turn up and we start coaching juniors, and I mean we might get 2, we might get 3, we might get 4.
Is the junior setup, is that brand new for this year then?
Brand new.
Right,
It
okay.
hasn't been done for 14 years.
Birmingham's predominantly just been a senior team.
First team,
Right, okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I mean, well,
do you have you got your coaches in place? Is the setup there? Yeah,
it's all done. That was all done before we even put it out, because obviously you don't put something out and end up with nobody, because you just lose everybody again. But this all goes back, pre-season, shall we say. We had a report done to see what we needed to do to make the club sustainable, not just now, but in the future, but also why players didn't stay. And that's not just with us, that's with lots of other Midland clubs as well, because there has been a slow derivation, also with support, and also with finance, sponsors, etc. And that report came back and told us that the big top number 1 complaint from players was player safety.
Really?
With regards to pitches. Yeah? Because remember, you get a lot of union, and some of these are contracted players. They see those pitches, they play on them once. Yeah, and remember, when we've been involved in this, same as you, for a long time. You don't always get if you're playing to a rugby union pitch, you don't always get the first pitch, you get the second pitch.
Yeah.
But it's the hard pitches, etc. So that was the first one. The second one was care. Have you got physios, etc. And you've seen we've set up a medical team. Yeah, this is directly from that report. With spectators, it was turning up in the middle of nowhere to watch a game, have to walk half a mile for a drink, half a mile to go to the toilet and things like that.
Yeah.
They take the kids with them, there's nothing for the kids to do. And we all know kids don't just stand there and watch when they're 5 or 6 just watching the rugby league and going, wow. And also, if it was rainy, they were covered in mud, etc., etc. So the reason why we're looking to move to Avery is to solve those two problems.
Avery is... which rugby union club play there?
Bourneville. But
did you play there a couple of years ago?
We did, yeah. So I think we played you guys.
I'm going to say,
in a semi-final.
I remember playing at that ground.
You had Jay Bailey playing for you that day, didn't you? I think I remember.
I don't know, mate.
Yeah, he'd come back. He'd been at Saints, and he'd come.
Ricky.
Sorry,
Ricky.
Bailey,
Yeah.
So he played against us that day, and that's why I remember it. But so I mean, I remember when we played there, and we had the likes of yourselves and Derby coming playing us in semi-finals and whatever, and everybody commented on how good of a setup it was that we had, down to little things like, you know, you take advantage of the fact that there's a water tap by the dugout, so you don't have to keep sending one of your subs to go and fill the water, but nobody wants to do that, do they? But it's little things like that, you know, and the setup upstairs in the bar area, and you know you got the viewing balcony and stuff, so it's just a miles more professional. Like you said, with Telford's opening day, it's professional, and when everything feels professional for the players, that they feel loved, and I think ultimately they want to perform better as well as a result of it.
And because of those type of facilities, the last part of the report was, why don't we get lots of money in? And a lot of it came back, the sponsors couldn't see the value of spending to watch, you know.
Yeah, for all that.
Yeah. Whereas at Avery, we're now selling tables. 6 tables at X amount. You've seen the prices. And we're selling them.
Yeah, so
because I can see the value.
Right.
And that's why, so obviously, so now I've taken over the more commercial side of trying to sell these hospitality tickets and reach out to sponsors. And I think already, £25 head, we got 20 sold. Stu's got some as well, and these are potential sponsors going forward. People that I have a relationship with through my job, but then people that have sponsored the rugby union club that I coach at. So, and hopefully, you know, it just feels a little bit more special because we've got that facility so they can come, and it's, you know, you couldn't do that where we played last season. Yeah, they'd just laugh at us. So
why did you move back out from Avery then? It was just
money,
financial.
Simple as that. It was a great facility. We loved it. We even had TV screens in the changing rooms there, so we could analyse games before training. But on the back of COVID, they put their prices up. We had sponsors pull out. I think last year, the only sponsor that we had left was the company that I work for. It literally covered the season. We didn't have a new kit, so we were playing in a 2-year-old kit. So we were scraping by, and that was the sole reason, the financial reason. And Kings Norton, where we moved to, is the club that I coach at.
Right. Okay.
So we got they give us a really good deal. They wanted us there.
Yeah.
And we're still trying there, etc., etc. But it's following this report, we've started to see drastic changes with regards to player pool that's coming in, people wanting to buy tickets and buying tickets for the match. Also, sponsorship has gone through the roof. So we know that side's worked. But the big reason, which we know some people are upset with us, was charging to come in.
Yeah, we're going to get onto that in a minute.
But that's not for us. That's not for us, like, to make a profit from. That's to pay for our schools, coaching, etc., etc. That's what it's designed to do. Yeah. We also ran part of that report was to find out how much people would be prepared to pay to come in. Our own supporters, it must be said. And that's why we initially chose the 6, because something like 90% said between £5 and £6. Yeah. We've now dropped that to £4.50. Yeah. Because we're not stupid. We take on board what other clubs are saying. We've also now given them 20 tickets to their own club each. So that solves anything. And unlike some clubs who said that we were going to charge for players and physios to come in, we never were. It was never said. It was just totally untrue. And the last part of that, which we heard from 1 or 2 other clubs, especially on your podcast recently, that we're looking to pay players. Have we ever looked to pay players?
No,
I don't think they actually said that.
No.
They said
he said what's next.
Yeah, he said like he didn't actually say he was paying players.
Yeah, no. We have we had. I think we had one season where I won't name the club, but we played a club away. I think we put 80 points on them, and they accused us of paying players and said that we had a money man, but we never have, and that's not part. That's not part of the plan. It's solely like I said earlier. It's about being sustainable, and it's about not being able to put back into the community. And I mean, we want to set up youth. That means we need coaches. Coaches need qualifications, and qualifications cost money. And it's as simple as that, basically.
And as you're both well know, you don't get granting.
No. No, you don't.
No, so we're going back to the charging for tickets, obviously I've got to delve into it a little bit deeper, because I mentioned it the other week, and I said, look, I ain't paying £6 to go. Well, I certainly won't want my missus to pay £6 to come and watch me play against Birmingham. I just didn't think
I've seen you play. I wouldn't pay £6 either.
I didn't think it was sort of right. I mean, if I'm paying devil's advocate, do you not think it would be better to not charge people to come in, and then you're going to reap the rewards with getting more people coming down and getting more people spending over the bar?
We don't own the bar,
so you're losing out there. Because I mean,
if we owned the bar and we owned the facilities, then yeah, 100%. But I mean, the difference is, like when I played up at Rolls-Bridge or wherever up north, the rugby league club is your own, and you make money behind the bar. But it's not. We're having to hire these facilities,
and they're not giving you're not taking a cut from the bar sales or anything like that.
No. If we did, we'd be millionaires, because I'll love a drink afterwards, love a social, but no, unfortunately not. So it's about.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, 90%, 95% of those supporters will be paying to come in on our own.
Yeah, I mean, I think now you've said that you're going to be giving tickets to the away travelling team. I suppose that's a lot better. I think that's going to sit with people a lot better.
Nobody ever asked the question.
Yeah, we never said we wasn't. It was never. I mean, it was never about. We're never going to charge players to come and play rugby. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, you go back to we travelled. We played Coventry away last season. In Birmingham, at Birmingham Solihull, and they didn't provide food. They advertised the food, and we had to pay for the food.
Yeah,
we're not impacting players' pockets. They're coming. They're playing on great facilities, and they're getting good food afterwards.
Yeah, every player will be fed.
And
I don't mean a sausage and chips. They will be fed properly. Any officials that are coming from the other clubs, so their chairman or vice presidents or whatever, they get a pre-match meal. And we told all the clubs this. Yeah. What more can we do?
Yeah, no, not a lot more than that. No.
And it's about what we're trying to attract sponsors and more of. So it's about being able to offer them something different as well. So thinking outside the box there, and if we have a facility where we can put on tables and food, and then they watch the game, and the thing with Avery as well, you got the balcony, so you can watch the game and you're right next to the bar, so or you can go down. It's up to them. Then it adds to that match day experience, and they'll also be handing out the man of the match award at the end of the game. So it's about that. It's about making it feel a bit more professional.
Yeah.
And it's important as well to stress that it is at the moment the plan. We've only planned it for the first game of the season because it is trial and error. We're going to see how it works for the first game because it does cost a lot of money, and them facilities cost a lot, and we have to make sure we can.
Well, as it stands now, financially, it looks like it's going to be a success.
Yeah.
But it's gone down very well in the city. We've got local and regional councillors coming down to the match. We've also got possibility of a very, very senior politician coming down from West Midlands, plus the charities that we spoke about earlier. So it's proving to be a good draw, and more than what we hoped for.
You seem to be very ambitious. That's the sort of the vibe I'm getting from you. Is there an idea of progressing Birmingham further than sort of playing in the Midlands, or is it? Do you always see yourself just as a community team?
We have to see. Everybody has human nature.
Ambitions,
You want to do better than what you did last year, or you want the best for your kids. Everything else. So we need to see how this season goes and get this one over, because this is a big rebuilding season. The following season, then we can put a lot of those foundations are in place and we can move forward. And let's see where we do go.
Yeah.
We're not saying we want to go to the NCL. Haven't said we want to be a League One side, etc., etc. We need to take one step at a time, and let's see how far we can take the club. We know that we have all the big things that the IMG are looking for: population, youth, all the bits and pieces. It's down to people like me and Sean to make sure we put all those together to form not just bits of a jigsaw, but a whole piece. And the more pieces that we find that fit, the farther we can go.
I mean,
I think that's the easiest way to explain.
I think I'd be lying if I said that I wanted my ambition for the club to lie solely in playing Midlands Rugby League. Down the line, somewhere in the future, it would be nice if we can achieve to play in a national league again. Solely because Midlands Rugby League, they keep calling it a development league, and the longer they keep calling it and classing it as a development league, it will always be a development league.
Yeah.
And there's been such a mixed band. You get the likes of Telford who can field a team home and away every week. Leamington are now, but in the past you've had the likes of Ravens we've had it in the past where we've paid for facilities and then Ravens have pulled out on us the day before a game. And then you see things like obviously Derby and what Derby have done, and Sherwood and gone on to be very successful.
Nottingham,
but they've had Nottingham. But the thing is, geographically, we can't play in a Yorkshire League. So the only other route then is to potentially eventually be back in the national leagues. Yeah. But then that it might not be realistic because you have to look at where we are geographically, the amount it would cost. How many players would we lose because of the travel? But not only the travel, the commitments to rugby union. I mean, we have one lad who plays first team rugby union for Moseley. He ain't going to prioritise playing for us in a national league match. So we got all them things to weigh up as well. It's
which
a long
goes
way
back
off.
to the longer term plan of bringing this junior and youth through, because that does give you the profile. Then we haven't got the problem of having to bring in top quality union places unless they change code completely. We have that in place. I mean, we're stuck in the middle. You've got Birmingham in the centre of the country. We've got the NCL, big trouble. We've got the SCL, which is 99% of London except for Bristol or Golds. Where do we go? Yeah.
That's the difference.
Our belief would be to make the Midlands the powerhouse it should be, whether that's Telford, etc., etc. You got Coventry, you got Leamington, and we used to have Leicester, Northampton. We've got to build that back.
Cov Dragons as well.
Yeah, Coventry Dragons.
One thing I would say this year is I think the Midlands Prem is probably going to be the strongest it's been in absolutely ages.
I agree.
Because you've got 5 teams in there, Oxford, Leamington, Telford, like you said them all, they're all really strong teams out there. And then on the back of that, you've got the Merit League now has got about 12 teams in it. It's going to be... Yeah. So the Merit League teams are going to start feeding up into the Midlands League. I think competition is going to be fierce this year.
100%, and I hope
and that's
so.
good.
Yeah, I hope so. I remember, was it 3 years ago when we played Leamington twice and put 80 points on them twice? Nobody gets anything out of that. And to be fair to Marcus, what he's done there at Leamington, they've done a fantastic job, and they've come. I mean, last year we saw it; they were competitive. It went right down to the wire, I think, for them making the playoffs. And that's what we need. It was anybody could beat anybody last season. Yeah, and I think it's going to be the same this season again.
But that's what we need. Is the people like Marcus's. He's done a great job down there. You can see it when you go down. You can see it on the social profile. They're doing a good, solid job. But he's doing the same as what we're doing, making the players feel that they are a bit special. They are playing for something. It's not, I'll go to that rugby league team for 2 or 3 weeks, do a bit of training, so I'm fit for... They're coming down to play rugby league. Yeah. And that's what it has to be, because otherwise we're not going to grow.
But I think even they had a lot of numbers pre-season last year, and they struggled. And they came to us, and they were, I think, 1 or 2... I played for them against us, because nobody wants to put their hand up to play against their own side. I think I scored against us, actually, so I got Dick of the Week and Dick of the Season.
Tell me that.
I know, yeah. So like I say, I know them lads quite well, and they're a good group of lads, and they deserve it, because when they were that season, the last couple of seasons where they were getting thumped, they kept going and the spirit was there, and you could see the potential in them. And it needed someone like Marcus just to grab it and take it forward, and that's what.
He's been able to do that because he's turned it from a team to a club. People stick with the club, they don't with the team.
Yeah.
And that's what he's turned it into.
That's it. And in all honesty, realistically, when you look, although we're the oldest, longest running club in the Midlands, we're behind everybody else, which is why we needed these changes. Because Leamingtons, the Telfords, they've got the youth, they've been there, they've done it.
The foundations, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's what we've done this year. We've put those foundations in. Yeah, they're still drying, but they're in. We've changed the kit colours, even though we have played in those colours before. Yeah, we partnered with Oxen to provide that kit. Yeah, so the players are getting the very best kit. It's the international level standard kit they're getting. So everything that we can do following that report, we're doing for players, spectators.
Yeah, so you've rebranded, haven't you, to black and red this year?
Yeah.
Tell me just about the colours, why you chose those colours, or is it just...
Well, we have played in them before, black and red. But we had another research done, because obviously we want to sell sponsorship on the shirts. White obviously is obvious, because obviously you can see everything. But black, for sponsorship, when we do the research, comes out top, because you leave a lot black and you fill it in with the sponsors, which you'll see on our new shirt we have done. So that's the main reason. One, we played in it before, and secondly was the branding research that we'd had done.
Yeah, and my wife's always washed the kit, and if we got white, she wouldn't be doing it anymore.
I remember playing up north in the winter, and we had a white away kit once. It stayed white for all of 1 week.
Yeah.
And another story, we had because we used to wear, the team I used to play for, we used to wear burgundy and white.
Same as Somerset.
Yeah, it's like manly colours. So it was burgundy and white shorts, and the laundrette washed it together.
Yeah,
and the shorts were bright pink.
But just to change something slightly, we're talking about Somerset, yeah? Somerset, at community level, probably the best team I've ever been involved with a team playing against. They knew what they were doing, etc., etc. But they're only playing merit again. This year, last year they just stopped. But it's another phenomenal side. And it could go a long, long way, and it should have gone a long, long way. So, it's not that we haven't got these clubs, in the Midlands or the Southwest, etc. They're there. We just need to nurture them to bring them up.
Yeah, keep lifting them. I was just going to ask, going back to what's worked for you as a club in bringing in fresh players, a particular way that you've recruited new players. Has it been word of mouth, social media, going into union clubs?
I think mainly a lot of it was players that I'd played union with, so I'd tap into them, and then they'd speak to their mates and other clubs, and obviously the university link that we had. Sean knew quite a lot of people, but then when we got we had Adam Brook, who came and played for us. He played for us last season as well. He played for Sheffield, Connor at Cass. We're Northerners, we're gobshites. We spread the word. I've been in the gym, and I think that was another good thing as well that we did. Every season I made sure that we always had warm-up tops and stash so that they felt part of a club. Yeah. And I think I remember there was umpteen occasions where lads had just been in the gym and people had approached him and rugby league. I didn't know they had rugby league around here. And it was the same for me when I first moved down here. Like I said, I'd come from playing for Ince. I was working in leisure, and I went and played. I went and signed at rugby union at Moseley, and the reason I did that is because I didn't know that there was a rugby league base down here. The awareness just wasn't there, which is why the things like with the Telford post, the Leamington post, the more noise there is around the Midlands, the more people are going to know about it and get involved.
Because Sean's got a great way with the players. It's beyond comparison. Really good with it. But a lot of our new players have come off our rebranding.
Yeah. Social media.
And social media. And we've had a big influx of them. And they're coming as far from Warsaw, over to us. But when they get here, they see there's a team of 5 physios. They've got any problems, they're there. And it's just this whole field. So they then bring somebody else. They see it's good. They bring somebody else. the guys that you brought in, they're bringing other people again now.
Yeah, so it's not really about recruitment. It's about retention.
Yeah.
And how we retain them. And I mean, little things again. Like last season, we started. So I'd get down early. We've got another lad, Ash Vaughan. He's a great volunteer. He used to meet me there early before every game, and we'd have all the shirts. Charlie Robinson as well, another lad. He printed off all the names, and we used to put the names on the pegs. All the shirts were on the pegs. The shorts folded. The socks. A banana, an energy drink, and a bag of Harry balls. So we'd make sure we had that as a setup before every game.
We spoke about this sort of thing before, me and Craig. It's like the 1%ers that make all the difference to people, isn't it? Yeah,
100%. And I remember, because it was a ball ache getting down there, don't get me wrong, then I'd get a headache from the wife because I've not cut the grass or whatever. But you get down there, and then when you see them turning up and walking in, taking pictures and putting it on their own social media, it was worth it. It was worth it. And when it goes back to, like I said, we're having the warm up tops. So we used to get them, bring them back, wash them, so that we didn't lose any. We had them every week, squad number on. And when you go out, then everybody looks the part. They look like a good side. And I remember being a kid when we used to turn up at places like Wigan St Pat's and like Oral St James, and you'd turn up, and if you were playing this is where I was at Inley, and you'd see like we were all in makeshift tops, like something I borrowed off my dad or something, and you've got these lads warming up in full tracksuits and jackets, and it's intimidating just looking at it because they look the part, and that's what we want.
But it's also amazing to be part of.
100%, yeah.
It's that team again.
And I think the main reason for our success last season in terms of on the pitch, because like I said, we started afresh with a completely new set of lads, was like the likes of Sean, Ash, Connor, certainly, Brookie. In the background, we had this opportunity. We saw it as an opportunity with the new set of lads. It was like, let's get the culture right. We want players that want to train. We want, after the lad who started off as captain, Charlie Robinson, he insisted when the lads came in after a game, we all sat there, we had a crate of beer, we all sat there, we had a beer together. So if you can play 18 minutes of rugby together, you can have a beer together. You stand up, you raise a toast to the lad who's made his debut, someone who scored an amazing try, whatever. And it was just about that culture and creating a brotherhood. So that everybody, when they go out on the pitch, you know that the person next to you is going to fight for you. And that was the real change last season, was the culture, I think.
Well, just fast forward now, if you will, just project your mind and think about, the end of the season. How will you know that kind of Birmingham have had a good season?
The end of this season coming? Well, I think once you win the league and you go into a league as reigning champions, so to speak, there's only one way you can measure the success, and that's by retaining it, isn't there? Even though, like I said, I do believe that this year it will be harder. But I think that's the only way we can class on the field as success. So just to put the pressure on Stuart, do you know what I mean? Won it when I was chairman.
But yeah, I mean, for the first time, it is retaining that championship, or getting as close as we physically can. But another key points it would be that the juniors are up and running. Yeah, our schools are up and running. What we're doing with the charities is up and running. What we're doing with the Ukrainian kids is up and running. Yeah, that we're on a financially stable footing. Yeah, these are all interlinked. So there's different parts. So if we've got 5 targets, if we reach 4, then it's a success.
Yeah.
If we reach 2, it's not. Yeah, but I think we'll do that. The big imponderable is obviously winning the league. We've got a lot, like you say, it's going to be a tough season.
And I think what would be good as well, I mean, I remember the year before COVID, myself and Sean and Mark and Jim at Boston, we all got involved, and we set up the Midlands representative side, and it went really well. We trained out in Nottingham. We took them down, tournament down south. A couple of lads got onto England Line Arts, etc. And it was good. It'd be nice to get that back up and running again.
There's a lot of people want to see that up and running, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. And I think it was great because like there was lads there. I was there with my coach's head on. We had trials, and there were lads there that I remember playing against them, thinking, I can't stand you. I remember one lad in particular. I won't mention his name. But he was from Derby. He was a nightmare to coach as well, but he was a quality player.
Yeah.
And it was nice to see that other side of people. And then when you travel to games and you're playing against them the next season, it's like everybody knows each other. And that's the beautiful thing about rugby league.
And for 80 minutes, you want to knock each other's
exactly.
heads off.
But then you have a pint afterwards. Do you know what I mean? We're at Telford, we're knocking each other's head off for 80 minutes, then we're sharing a bag of chips afterwards. You know what I mean? So
but they are looking to start the rep teams off again. Last time I saw coming through from the RFL, they were looking for coaches, and I think that's going to be the most difficult one. Is getting a volunteer coach because of time.
Well, that was it. There was a lot of travelling. We were going up to Nottingham, like I say, and the lads from Boston were great, but they were having to travel all the way from Boston. So it was great, and you learn. And the other thing as well, like you learn the difficulties that Boston had in terms of their recruitment. They have a lot of lads from the RAF and stuff, etc., that disappear, and but then you learn their coaching techniques from them and what they're doing differently, and you can put that into practice. So it was, and with the different players as well. So yeah, it was really interesting process.
Just going back to like your goals, some might say, look, quite lofty, ambitious goals. Do you feel the pressure of that, or no pressure?
You take each one. It could be quite big, yeah. Well, the whole thing's quite big, but each one is made up of different parts, yeah. So we talk about targets. Each one, say, got 5 parts. So if we achieve 4 out of the first part, that's a success. We may not achieve everything, so you've got to look at it that way. Take one step at a time. It's like walking up stairs. If you walk one step at a time, eventually you get to the top. It doesn't mean you do it all in one go. So we're not going to be running up. We've got to set these targets, and they're quite sensible. Yeah, we set them bit by bit, but we're not just saying launching this and then thinking, how the hell do we do it? Everything's put in place first, then we do it, so we can back it up to take it through.
I think the only person in the club that probably feels any pressure or feels the most would be Sean Flynn as the head coach, because he has always been successful, and I think and I see he overanalyses himself afterwards. If something goes wrong, he blames himself, and I think it's just because he's such a good coach, and he wants to succeed for the players. So obviously he feels the pressure from a results part of things.
Blood, sweat and tears for the team,
100%,
and his guys. There's no doubt about that. So I think he has the highest pressure. There's no doubt.
It's not the hardest job. Yeah.
Well, you've mentioned a few people throughout the episode, but we always offer the guests just a little bit of time to mention, any unsung heroes or people that have made, move the needle for the club or whatever.
I think at the moment you've mentioned Sean, but you've got Ash Vaughan, who you've mentioned. Whatever you ask Ashley to do, he goes off and it's done. Yeah. You've also got Mark Abel, who's quite a low profile, been involved with the club for several decades now. But whatever you ask, it's done. Yeah. And obviously you've got Big Sean here. So we're working as a team. Yeah. But I would say those are the key figures who do the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, and like I said, when you mentioned Mark there, I bet a lot of the lads don't even know who Mark is. But he's always there. How many meetings did we have pre-season this year? And he was there at every meeting. And we, it's like when you're married, you all get it in the head. You get the headache at home. And the other one, like my missus as well, I suppose I better mention her. Because she puts up with a lot, but she's always washed the kit, done the social media, that sort of stuff before Stuart got involved. But there's a lot of people that do good stuff behind the scenes. But
so I think the total thing is everybody's working to the same goal, and that's the biggest thing. You can go to clubs where you've got 10 people, 6 are working to one goal, 2 don't know where they're going, and the other 2 could be working against it. At the Bulldogs, I can say hand on heart, everybody is working to the same goal, whether it's the physio, the chairman, whatever.
Volunteers make a club, don't they? Without the volunteers, you can't do anything. And I remember there's been times where I've been on my own. There's been times where Sean's been on his own, and you just got to do it. Roll up your sleeves. But now there's more since Stuart's got involved. We've got more volunteers than ever.
Game day manager.
We've got a game manager for the first time. So sharing that, but it becomes a lot more enjoyable if you're not having to stress about getting there early enough to peg the kits up, and who's going to own bargains to get the gummy bears and stuff like that. So
people think what we're doing is big. It's not actually. It's all lots of little things, which then form a big thing. So I think we're in no rush to get to that end point. We just do as much as we can.
Yeah.
Looking at this big shiny trophy, then the 5 teams in the Midlands Premier competing for this year. How's your first team squad shaping up then at the minute?
Well, it's
if you I don't know, like if you're going to compare it to last year, this time last year, are you in
we're stronger than last year?
Yeah, you're in a better place.
We're stronger than last year. We've got a lot of new faces.
Some good new talent coming.
Yeah, good new talent. We got we got the lads. We've got that link back with the university that we didn't have last season because Sean, through his commitments at home or whatever, had stopped coaching the university the year before, so we didn't have them filtering through. But now we've got Connor. He's coaching them, so he's brought 4 or 5 of them down. And like I said, we've really added to that culture. But as well, because there were so many players that played for us last season, where it was the first season with a taste of rugby league. They've gone back to their clubs then, their rugby union clubs, and brought some of their mates down with them.
Yeah.
And
we had some start last year from the northwest, but they're now living down here, young lads as well. 18, 19, 20, 22.
Yeah.
And they're really good players. But also, that playing at Avery has also started bringing us in a lot of good union, like contract level players as well, because they want to play there.
Yeah.
So it's a mixture. Right?
Yeah.
We are definitely stronger.
Yeah. But then everyone else is.
Well, it seems that way.
Certainly
There's definitely great numbers around, which is really exciting. So that's good. Anything else, Carlo?
No, I think we've touched on most. Is there anything you guys have wanted to talk about that we haven't spoken about?
I think our main part is just the community side, that we're pushing the community side. We decided at the start of the season we'd partner with 3 charities, 1 international, 1 national, 1 local. The international one is Lepra, who obviously by the name deal with leprosy in northern India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. The national one is Motor Neurone Disease Association. And then the local one is the SVP, who are based in Birmingham. They work in deprived areas with deprived children, etc., etc. So we're going to be working with them to provide coaching. They can come down to us for coaching, but we'll also go into their centres and coach as well wherever it's possible. So that's that one part. And obviously the last part is the Ukrainian part, which fixes in with the others.
So are you trying to sort of fundraise for these charities at the same? Is that what you're doing, or is it just beneficial?
No. The first part is they're on our kit. Yeah. They'll be in our programmes. We will be producing glossy programmes for every match, no matter where we play. They've been on our social media. We will fundraise for them as well. Yeah,
we'll use it. We can use it as team events, team building events.
Yeah.
Whether we do Snowdon or some sort of challenges, but that'll be the idea. So it's a team event rolled into raising for charity.
I mean, we're not just linked with them this year; it's the following year and going forwards from there. So we're not doing this. Well, we'll do it this year. It's going to give us a good name. We're not. This is a long-term process. So that obviously with the MNDA, that's why we're pleased. Your man's done his journey on his super marathon.
Okay, lads, brilliant talking to you and learning more about Birmingham. A real good aged club with lots of depth, and really interesting listening to you both. All right, we're going to move over to our fun prediction. I don't know how fun this is, all right, but we're going to have fun prediction round and look at the fixtures ahead of next week. So before we do, I take it you're a big Wigan supporter here, Sean.
Yeah.
Absolutely through and through.
Yeah, well, I played at Lee for a number of years though, so I have a soft spot for Lee. So
right.
I like seeing them do well, but Wigan, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Lee doing brilliant this year.
Yeah.
Stuart, what about you?
Obviously, I was brought up support KR, but I can't say that this week because I'm at FC on Sunday. So.
Right. Okay.
Well, we've just recorded it now, so
just supports Hull.
all clubs.
Right, Craig. Last week you
smashed it.
You pulled one back, didn't you? Yeah. So you're 1 point behind me now. And Birmingham, this is your first competition of the year, so you've got to beat Leamington.
Right.
So Pete got 3 and Toby got 5. Yeah.
Bless him. He was caught up with that. Did you see Toby was giving some stick on social media?
Yeah, he didn't like it, did he?
Pete put some of them little, crying emojis.
Right, okay, first game then is St Helens v Warrington. St Helens starting to struggle. Uncharacteristically starting to struggle. Warrington, they lost, didn't they, to Wigan, yeah. So a big game that. It was their sort of chance to prove the real deal, and they came up short. Go on, I'll let you go first.
I thought they had a try chalked off that shouldn't have been though. But,
yeah, we all thought that. Apart from the video, right?
I weren't complaining, but you know what? I'm gonna go Saints at home. I think they need to bounce back, and they've still got the same squad. They've got the players around them to do it. So I'm gonna go for a Warrington wobble and Saints win.
Right, cool.
I'm going the other way. I'm going Warrington. I think you've got 2 very different styles of game, and I think that's St Helens' style will play into Warrington's hands.
Right. For me, I talked to a few touch players last night about this, and we're sort of saying, Saints are in almost the same stage Leeds was a few years ago, where a lot of their players retired all of a sudden, and the team went downhill for quite a while afterwards, and maybe we're still recovering now, and maybe Saints are at that point now. They've got some aged players. I'm going to go Warrington. Okay, and because of that,
I'm going Wire as well.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I think even though they lost to Wigan last week, they were still there or thereabouts. There wasn't much in it, and it was one of them games that could have gone either way. I thought it was quite fun that they did lose, because the old "it's Warrington's year" joke started coming back out like they do every single year when they start losing. So but I think I don't know what's going on with Saints at the minute. I don't think they're quite at the races.
Just told you what's happening with Saints.
I mean, you are
expert over here.
I mean, how old's Robbie now? Is he like?
That's what I'm saying.
102.
Yeah, 100. Yeah. Just a little bit younger
I
than
think
Karl.
the mix is just imbalanced. I think that's
Yeah.
Wire for me then. Right, next game is the Friday night fixture, Castleford against Hull KR. You always have to go first, and then we decide what we're doing after that.
Okay. I think Hull KR, and I think comfortably, to be honest. I think Cass they don't look at the races this season. Hull look pretty steady. I think they'll progress well. So I'm going to go Hull KR comfortably.
I would totally agree with that. I like Cass as a club and how they work, but
they're not there this year.
No. So it's something wrong in the back of that club.
Yeah, same as for me.
Yeah,
Okay.
same as for me. Clean sweep for
sweep.
OKR. OKR are flying, I think, at the minute. So yeah, I'll tell you what's interesting about OKR is that Tony Smith built this squad from the ground up, and now he's gone to the other side of Hull and gone to a struggling team. So he's not reaping the rewards of his success that the team he's built. I suppose that's what Tony Smith's good at. And he builds teams up, doesn't he?
He's a challenge man.
Yeah,
he is, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He loves a challenge.
It seems a shame for him that he's not reaping the rewards of Hull KR's success now.
No, he's Mr. Underdog, isn't he?
Yeah,
he loves an underdog.
Loves it.
Right, next one's a big game. Big game, this one. The Leopards versus the Rhinos. Lee, mixed bag, win loss. They're sort of they're very similar to Leeds, to be honest with you. Craig, you always have to go first on the old Leeds fixture.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be a close game. I've got to back Leeds.
Leeds won the last game, didn't they? Yeah, against Hull. But Lee are looking good. Josh Charnley's back in contention for an England spot again.
Yeah, oldest man in an England shirt.
He deserves it though.
He does, yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think to be honest, I think they've been getting good crowds at Lee as well, at Lee Sports Village. So I think they'll have a good crowd on, a big atmosphere.
Didn't they have Robbie Williams the other week?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been
Did he
doing.
turn
They've been doing.
Not the actual Robbie Williams.
Was it not? Oh, sake.
But they've been doing. They've used their initiative and they started doing the like live band, local bands and stuff before the game. And they to pull the
Got
crowd in.
another
So.
band this week, haven't we?
Yeah. So yeah, no. You know what? I think with the momentum of last week's win, that comfortable win against Wakey. I don't think they weren't at the best either against Wakefield, but they won comfortably, which is the side of a good side. So for me, I think with the home crowd behind them, I think Lee might scrape it.
Yeah, I think it'll be Lloyd Dead. It's got the buzz going there. It's in the fans. It's in the players. So I think it'll be really comfortable.
A quick one, shirt, love it or hate it?
Well, I think the
Gets us talking.
I think the fact that it's not really a leopard either, is it? It's a bloody snow leopard or a and I've got there's a lad that works for me, Daryl, and he won salesperson of the quarter last quarter, and I changed his certificate to leopard of the quarter. He hates it. Do you know they bought a season ticket there, and with your season ticket you got a free shirt. That's how desperate they had to get rid of him. I mean, when you're walking around, you got a leopard's arse on your back. No, I'm not a fan at all.
Yeah, but you also got red eyes on your nipples.
Yeah, but I mean, how do you go from being a centurion to a leopard? It's bad.
But they've got
times.
planned different ones for different periods as well now, from what I could understand.
Is that right?
Yeah.
All because their owner's favourite animal's a leopard. I mean, I like pandas, but I'm not going to go out dressed as one. Do you know what I mean?
Birmingham Pandas, yeah.
You heard it here first. That's getting clicked.
That's the real reason why the kit's gone black.
Have we all gone? No, I ain't gone. I've Lee for me. Yeah.
Oh, fuck off, Karl.
Yeah, I think.
Too old to go against fucking Leeds.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I like what Lee are doing, so.
All right. You'll be sorry.
Is that 3-1? Is that you think you're
3-1.
gonna pull the point back and go level next week?
Yeah.
We'll see. Sunday then, Salford Red Devils versus Catalan. It's at Salford. Sure.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Lottery. I think it's going to be close. Salford look really good this year.
Brilliant.
I'm going to go Catalan. But I reckon it's going to be as close as 6. Narrow win.
What's the reason for the Catalan? What tipped you over the edge?
I just
picked one out.
I just tossed a coin in my head. It's like I can hear my two brain cells clanging together, and it come up with Catalan.
Yeah, nice one. Yeah, Stuart.
I think if my head was rolling, I'd say Catalan just.
Yeah.
But my heart will roll with Salford, so it'd be Salford.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I'm going Salford. Salford's been my second team this year, and so I'm going to go Salford.
They play a good brand of rugby, but not as good as the one that Catalan are going to play this week. So I'm going Catalan.
Here we go. I'll be 2 points ahead.
No chance.
That was a confident Catalan shout as well. That was.
Catalan have been great this year. They lost last 2, haven't they?
Yeah.
How great's that?
But I can't see him losing 3, and that's
the truth.
I just can't see him losing 3.
No, right.
Fair enough.
The next game then, Dull FC versus Huddersfield Giants.
You're looking at me again.
Yeah. You get this. It goes like this. It goes like this.
He's got cushy.
Go straight first, because we know what Stuart's is going to be.
It's going to be Hull FC.
Yeah. So you're there. You're at the game this weekend, are you?
Yeah.
Any reason you're going, or just?
Let's have a chat.
Right. Okay. Oh, networking.
Oh, yeah. Got a story to tell or not? A secret.
Oh, it's a bit of a secret at the moment.
See a man about a dog.
Or 2.
Yeah. I'm going to go Hull. I don't think Huddersfield look that strong this year, and I think Hull they're due a good result, and I think they'll get one this weekend. Local derby as well, tasty.
They've not been playing as bad as some of the results show.
Suggest. Yeah. Well,
hang on, they were rubbish last week. What did they lose by last week? 34 points to 10.
I didn't say every game.
I'm going to go Huddersfield. On that.
Yeah, I'm going to go Huddersfield. Go the Giants.
The Giants.
Huddersfield to win. Tony Smith to be next Birmingham Bulldogs manager. That's what I'm saying. Right, the final fixture of the weekend then is a given. We don't really need to vote on this one. It's Wigan v Wakefield. Wakefield have still only
Bless you.
scored. You can count them on one hand how many tries they've scored this year.
Yeah, I don't think they should even be on the same pitch. I'm going Wigan.
You've got to say
Wigan, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you've got to
Pies
win
all
once in
round.
the season.
yeah. It's a shame, though, isn't it? Isn't it a shame?
It is actually, because they're not even competing, are they?
Not at the minute.
No.
It is a shame, but I think for
Fuck 'em.
years, for years now they've been scraping the barrel and just surviving, and like I said, with the infrastructure at the ground, it's been going backwards. I think there's bigger clubs in the Championship that deserve a chance, and I think it's good to see Lee come up this time and really give it a good shot.
Yeah, having a good crack at it.
Yeah.
Who would you say like would come up and slot right in?
Widnes.
Widnes, yeah.
Widnes good.
Huge heritage.
When you talk about history, and you know, Bradford, great history, and like we were talking earlier about, I remember the days when I was going down to the DW and even Central Park watching Wigan Bradford, Robbie Paul, Henry Paul. Great game, great club. So yeah, I think there's a few clubs in there that I think
It's all in the past, though, isn't it? What about
Yeah.
Featherstone are the team on the pitch that are absolutely smashing it out?
Yeah, they're the ones that are on the roll.
Yeah.
100%.
I just feel sorry for the Trinity, because it's probably the worst season that could ever happen. Because the future's so uncertain.
Yeah.
The problem is as well,
This
though,
could
with
have-
Wakefield, they're so close that, you know, they're on Leeds' doorstep.
Yeah.
You got Bradford on the doorstep with such a good, strong history. So it's a difficult catchment area. Whereas in Wigan, you've only got Wigan. I know Warrington's not far, St Helens ain't far, but I remember playing rugby in Wigan. You could walk from one ground to the local amateur clubs. Whereas in Wakefield, it's not quite like that.
But it's like that along the M60. I mean, you've only got to look at Huddersfield, Leeds and Cass, especially Cass and Leeds. I mean, Cass hold their annual player end of season do opposite Ellen Road.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're always going to get that up there. I mean, Wakefield in reality is a little bit farther out than those guys. But I just think from a club with the kind of heritage that Trinity have got, I just think, you know, if it had happened last season or the season before, it would have been a bit different. But the uncertainty going in the next 2 years is probably the worst season to finish bottom.
Yeah, I mean, only thing that's for Wakefield, if they do get relegated this year, all they have to do next year is get some shiny digital screens and a good social media following, and they'll be back up.
Red eyes and nipples, and they'll be laughing. Yeah, I wonder what the chairman's favourite animal is.
They're actually against the IMG proposals of Wakefield.
Are they opposing it?
Yeah, they're opposing it. I saw that today. Interestingly, the teams who have come out and said they are opposing it are the teams at the bottom of the table.
Yeah. Inevitable, isn't it?
Yeah, Castleford are
bit.
against it as well.
Yeah.
Possible. Yeah.
But it goes down to those demographics that the IMG have put in with regards to population, which goes back to what we were just saying, how close a lot of these teams are. One of them's going to fall foul of it.
Yeah. Okay, great. Predictions done? Yeah, predictions done. Okay, so we're going to move on. Our golden point question. It was set by Pete Gattenbury from Leamington Royals the other week. Good question, actually. Really, really quite simple. His question, we're going to play that clip now. All right, just to summarise then from Pete, the question was, what do the clubs in the Midlands as a whole need to do to make the game more exciting and more engaging? So...
Yeah,
Sean?
for me, it's about what we discussed earlier, exactly what a lot of clubs are doing this year that we haven't done before, and that is the social media presence. And like we said with Leamington, Codbears, the inclusivity, so adding the women's game to it as well, so there's more competition there. So I think the more social media presence, the more the word spreads, the more competitive the league can be, and then we can sort of put the Midlands on the map as a real rugby league area. And I think Hurricanes as well, being in the professional game, certainly helps the region. And I think if there was a closer link to the Hurricanes in terms of a progression path, that would certainly benefit the Midlands, I think.
Yeah, you had an hospitality day down at Midlands, did you? Did you go?
Me and Mark Abel.
Oh, you went down there, yeah. Yeah. What do you think? It was good?
It was all right, yeah.
Yeah, quality. Stuart, what was your...
I think the whole thing is you can't raise the profile of something. Well, let me start again. You can't do anything unless people know that you're there. Yeah? Business is where you are. So the profile of rugby league in the Midlands has to go up. So, like Sean says, with the social media, etc., we've got to make it exciting for people to come and watch, yeah, exciting for sponsors to come in because money runs everything, but also that the players want to play, and not just for that summer period they start to turn. But you've got to make sure that people in the Midlands know that rugby league exists. We all think it does because we're all involved in it. Yeah, but you go in the centre of Birmingham and say, who's the rugby league team? They couldn't name you the Hurricanes, Birmingham Bulldogs, anybody. As far as they're concerned, it doesn't exist, so we've got to raise that. So the type of things that we're doing, inviting people down, etc., it's raising that profile, and you can see that it's being done in Telford now, it's being done in Leamington. This is what we've got to do. So it becomes something that people want to be involved with because they know it's there.
Yeah, I suppose I always try and look at, when I'm looking at a question like that or a problem, I always look at the inverse of it as well. And the inverse of it was don't let it slip back. I think, this season it's almost like streams have combined and everyone's got great numbers at training. We can't let it go back now.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's what's happened in the past. I mean, you go back 10, 12, 14 years ago, there was almost 20 clubs in the Midlands. Where did they go? And it goes back to what you just said.
I think another thing as well, we touched on it last year, we asked the question with the RFL. So we got to the stage where we almost had enough to put two sides out, but we weren't quite there, which meant that we had people that were missing out on game time. But then you've got the Ravens just down the road from us, who are travelling to some games with 8, 9, 10 players. Surely we should introduce like some sort of loan system,
some like combined team or something.
Yeah, if they're not playing, they're not even in the same competition. They're in the merit league, so therefore we should be able to say, there you go, game time, go and play for the Ravens, go and put a shirt on for them. And I think that would benefit because you got people missing out on game time because we're not quite at two teams.
I think you're totally right there. It hits a brick wall when you got this that everybody's built walls around their own garden. Yeah, I'm not going to have your players. I'm not going to lend you our players. It's that type of thing, and I think that has to go.
Yeah, it was like when Leamington came.
For rugby.
Well, when Leamington came to us, we spoke. Marcus was open with me beforehand, said we're struggling numbers wise, and I said to him, look, come over. We've got numbers. We won't make you players. We will play 13 on 13. Yeah. We have to reshuffle stuff or reshuffle. It's about a game of rugby, and the lads want to play 13 on 13. They want it competitive, and we had lads that put their hand up and put a shirt on for them on the day, and and then after that, because the thing is, if they didn't manage to turn up and play in that game and compete, the chances are that you dwindle and go backwards.
What kind of effect?
Yeah, because you see that the games are off, whereas it actually ended up being a really close game. And then they springboarded on from that. So, and I think the more we can do to engage and help each other, the better it is for the community game.
I think the big key thing is we have to work together. Not in isolation, but we have to work together. We all love the game. Yeah, we're all playing rugby league. We're all running rugby league clubs. We cannot do it in isolation because we have nobody to play. We have to work together. And I think that's my be all and end all.
Great. Carlo, from you, I mean, what's your take on it? You've normally got an opinion.
How to make the game more exciting in the Midlands. Two things I want to see. Big rivalries being bigged up on social media, whether they're genuine or not. I think it gauges interest. I don't know what you guys think about that. I said this other week, didn't I?
Yeah.
Well, we did it with the. I think you mentioned it with Leamington about and it was like, I know you touched on we advertised it as the rivalry in the Midlands, and they're not far from Coventry, but I mean, people were talking about it. You were talking about it, whether
exactly.
it was good or not.
That's
that rivalry isn't just this year; it goes back 20 years. prior to the only seasons we haven't played each other and there's been a big rivalry is when Bulls were in the NCL and then when Coventry went professionally in League One. Those are the only seasons that there wasn't that big rivalry there. It's always been the big game.
Like I said, regardless of whether it's good press or bad press, people were talking about a rugby game in the Midlands.
I agree, and I think bigging up your rivalries is the one thing we've got to do in the Midlands, and as long as behind the scenes everyone's cooperating with each other and as it should be. But I think if you put it out there, it's a bit of a grudge match. Yeah, people are going to be interested, and like you've done with the Cov game, it's a repeat of last year's final. Yeah, people are talking about it. Good thing. So that's the first thing I do: big up the rivalries. And the second thing I do to make Midlands League a little bit more interesting is run a sort of separate cup competition, whether it's a sevens or a nines or something like that. Yeah. It's a day festival. We've actually spoke about this on another episode, which I haven't aired yet. But I think that'll be quite an interesting thing to do.
That would be a good idea. I mean, you could run a nines over the weekend. Yeah? Yeah. We have plenty of blank weekends. That could be done. It's done and dusted quickly. But it rises a lot. It also brings a lot of revenue in as well.
I used to love the festivals, when you're playing. Yeah. I remember when I was a kid, and I remember travelling up to places like Durham and Newcastle and staying over in a bloody caravan and playing against teams like Elland.
Did you go to Whitley Bay?
Yes, that's it, Whitley Bay. That's the one, Whitley Bay, yeah.
Infamous 7-a-side.
That's it. I remember playing Elland and walking out and thinking, these aren't the same age as me.
that was my boyhood team. That
was it. Yeah. Well, I think
one of them.
I think it was like under 10s. I think it was under 10s, and one of the lads was coming out with a beard. That's what's that all about. Sounds about right. So that was Whitby Bay. Yeah,
but nines would be a good idea for another reason as well. We're talking about the men's. There's a lot of clubs who've got maybe 10, 11, 12 ladies. Can't field the full team, but could play nines, which gives them a chance to play against other teams and gives it as a benchmark to come up from.
I think as well, you can invite clubs from outside of the region, can't you? I remember played in one years ago. It was at Bromsgrove, and you had like Bedford Tigers come down, and
I played in that one.
Emil Stags, I
got sent off.
I probably did.
We played a New Zealand touring team.
That was it, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that sounds familiar. I wonder if I played in that.
You might have done. Some Maori dropped his knees on the back of my head as I scored, and then all hell broke loose.
And that's when there was two teams in Coventry there as well, because you remember Cov Warriors.
I remember Cov Dragons.
Yeah, there was Cov Dragons, Cov Warriors, and then you had Wolverhampton at the side as well.
I think I was playing for Wolverhampton. It was when they amalgamated. It was just Wolverhampton. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Solved all the world's problems, haven't we?
Yeah, as we always do.
All the rugby league problems.
Right, lads, listen, it's been great chatting to you. Like you said, clearly a club with lots of depth and it's really interesting. So I wish you all the best for the season. And, for me, thank you very much for joining us and sharing your story and your goals and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's been great to speak to you and get your side of the story on some things we spoke about in previous episodes. And like I say, your ambition of the club's really refreshing, to be honest with you. And it's good that you brought this little thing along as well. I'm interested to see how everybody goes this season. We'll be keeping a close eye.
Yeah, no, thanks for having us and good luck to everyone. Like I say, it's nice and refreshing to see how strong everybody looks on social media this year.
Yeah, it's going to be a great season.
I think so.
But thanks for having us. And one thing I would like to say, thanks for setting all this up, because it is making a benefit and you are raising a profile, especially in the Midlands, because you're based here. But I think it's great. I don't normally podcast or watch one or two. I watched all yours.
Oh, cheers.
They're very enthralling, they're engaging. And I think it's what we needed down here.
100%. That's part of the raising the awareness, isn't it?
Yeah.
And thanks for the biscuits as well. They were banging.
Yeah, it does get good biscuits.
M&S. Okay, so a little bit of a look forward. We're going to go from this episode. We're going to record an episode international with a team up in Canada. I think launched this year, and we're going to find out about them. So that'll be coming out later on.
Toronto Saints, yeah.
Toronto Saints.
We got the Worcester episode still to come. We got you forgot them all anyway. We got that many recorded now. James Simpson, the wheelchair episode. It's coming with Martin Gill from Edinburgh Giants. We've got the catch-up with Scotland Rugby League. That's to come. What else have we missed?
Oh, loads of stuff. Anyway, so tune in next time. Keep
Make sure you
tuning, keep
subscribe.
All right, thanks, lads. Take
Cheers.
care.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
That's the final whistle for this week's episode of the Rugby League Outsiders. We hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to follow us on social media and share this podcast with your friends. And as always, if you have a story to tell, a club to plug, or a player that deserves recognition, we want to hear from you. So until next time on the Rugby League Outsiders, take care.